The quality of my lifestyle in China is much better than the quality of life I had living in the US. I only pay $278 a month for my apartment.
So guys, I have a question for all of you guys. What are we paying taxes for in the United States? This is China at 8:30 at night in the park.
I'm an American. I pay $1,600 for a flat that has no bedroom. That's 2/3 of my income. My health is declining because I can't afford Whole Foods because that's too expensive for my life. I'm living the American dream.
The American dream is dead, and China just buried it with bullet trains, factories, and a 9% growth rate. You were sold a lie. Work hard, play by the rules, and you'll make it. But look around. Your rent's tripled, your wages haven't moved in a decade, your retirement? A fantasy funded by stock buybacks and broken promises. Meanwhile, across the Pacific, a country that's considered a part of the developing world has lifted 800 million people out of poverty, built over 40,000 miles of high-speed rail, and grown its economy at 9% a year for 30 years. So when they tell you the US is the land of opportunity, ask yourself, who's actually delivering the dream? The nation that talks about it, or the one that's actually building it?
I'm an American. I pay $1,600 for a flat that has no bedroom. That's 2/3 of my income. I'm an American. I work 50 hours a week. I don't have health insurance. I'm an American. I couldn't afford to have a child even if I wanted to. I'm $7,000 in debt. I'm an American. My health is declining because I can't afford Whole Foods because that's too expensive for my life. I am very overqualified for my job, but no one else is hiring. I'm an American. I make my boss hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, while I can barely keep myself alive. I'm an American. I have never been out of the States. I have never been on a vacation. I'm an American. I make $20-some an hour. A livable wage here is like 30-some. Yet I don't qualify for government assistance whatsoever. On the days I don't work, I'm so tired I just sleep all day. I'm an American. My electric bill is so expensive I sit outside in the heat because I can't afford to turn the AC on in the damn house. I'm an American, and I fear I'm just an average American. I'm living the American dream.
The American nightmare. That's a perfect description. And judging by the comments section, she's not alone. We're talking thousands of people chiming in, sharing their own tales of woe. The common thread? The American dream, for many, is a financial trap. People are drowning in debt, struggling with healthcare costs, and working themselves to the bone just to stay afloat. One comment that really hit home, an American living in Asia, paying $190 for rent, zero debt, paid off car, and can afford medical care without insurance. Meanwhile, back in the land of the free, they've got folks skipping heart medication just to make ends meet. Let that sink in. We're talking about a developed nation where basic necessities are luxuries for a growing number of its citizens. The data backs this up. The cost of living in the United States, including rent, is a staggering 160.3% higher than in China. It's a systemic issue where the economic scales are tipped heavily against the average person. Now let's read some of these comments. First up, Jingjing. I'm Chinese. I work 40 hours a week, making $20 an hour. My health insurance is $70 a month. The company meals are only $1 each. I pay $500 a month for a 3-bedroom house. I travel abroad 3 times a year. The company covers my internet and phone bills. A while back, I hurt my eye when I was working out. I went to the hospital and they did all the checks and prescribed medicine in just 2 hours. The insurance covered the bill. Now, $500 for a 3-bedroom house. Healthcare that actually works and is affordable. This is the kind of financial freedom and peace of mind that many in the West can only dream of. It highlights a stark contrast in quality of life for the average worker. Now let's read a comment from Shari. I'm an American. I'm 72, just retired, worked hard for 50 years, I have nothing. I cannot make it on my social security. I have to go to food pantries, my teeth are bad, and can't afford to fix them. Can't afford to save enough to bury myself. Just an average American. Now this is the heartbreaking reality for far too many Americans. After a lifetime of work, the promise of a secure retirement is shattered, leaving individuals in a precarious state. It's a stark reminder of the fragility of the American dream for many in the working class. Now, this comment is from Jin. I'm Chinese. My family has 4 apartments, and we still have a house in the countryside. We are just ordinary people. We eat out every day. I order takeout almost every day, live a simple life, and have no loans. The water fee is $5 every 2 months, and the electricity fee depends on the season, with more than $40 per month in summer and $7 to $8 in other seasons. Everything is cheap. 4 apartments and a house in the countryside, no loans, and utilities that barely register. This isn't about being a millionaire. It's about a system where basic living is genuinely affordable, allowing for a level of financial stability that feels almost mythical to many in the West. Okay, and this last comment is from Alyssa. I'm an American. I don't want to be anymore, but can't afford to move anywhere else. Now, this comment perfectly encapsulates the feeling of being trapped, the desire to escape a system that no longer serves you, but the inability to do so due to financial constraints is a powerful and tragic indictment of the current situation in America and in the West in general.
So guys, I have a question for all of you guys. What are we paying taxes for in the United States? This is China at 8:30 at night in the park. They have a full-on inflatable water park up there, a ton of vehicles the kids can drive around. Look at how many people are out. Just look at how many people are out. Here comes a kid driving his little car. Like lights on the bumper boats. This is crazy. So I'm here, I'm an American living in China. I did not even expect this to be going on at the park. I've been to this park many times, and it feels like because kids are out of school for the summer, they have tons of things going on for kids. So you can see all these boats are just a kid and their parent out there hanging out on the little bumper car paddle boat things, but it looks like they have a motor, not like they're pedaling. He's got like a water gun on the front of it. This is outrageous. So anyways, guys, yeah, I don't know what we're paying taxes for in the United States. This is wild. Hopefully this was helpful and it shows you a side of China you wouldn't otherwise see or hear. Cheers.
Next, we have Colin X China, who bravely asks the question, what are our taxes going to in the United States? And the comments, they are a brutal, unfiltered look at public sentiment. People are not holding back, and the consensus is clear. A significant portion of American tax dollars is perceived to be funding wars and enriching billionaires rather than improving the lives of its own citizens. One particularly poignant comment states, U.S. taxes go to funding wars and billionaires. Another one echoes this sentiment, saying, paying Israel wars is expensive. These aren't isolated opinions. They reflect a growing disillusionment with how public funds are allocated. When you compare this to the visible infrastructure and public services in China, as often highlighted by creators like Colin, the contrast becomes stark. It raises a fundamental question. If the American dream is about prosperity and the well-being for its citizens, why do so many feel their contributions are being siphoned off elsewhere? And Holty commented, this is why TikTok is getting banned in the US. It doesn't fit the US narrative. Now, this touches on the idea of narrative control. When platforms allow unfiltered perspectives that challenge official stories, they become a threat to established power structures. Okay, the next comment is from Sifiwell Philly. You're paying taxes for the big army so that you can go to unnecessary wars for Israel and big corporations. Again, another blunt assessment of where tax dollars are perceived to be going. It reinforces the idea that the military-industrial complex and corporate interests are prioritized over the needs of the average person. And I had to include this comment from this dumbass. He says, y'all are so stupid for believing China is great. Like, what are you people on about? China is a full dictatorship where they hide all their mistakes from the public. No freedom of expression because you get hunted down. They hunt down the Uyghur population, so no, this country is not better than America in any way. This good side of China that you supposedly never see or hear is complete BS. You see that shit 24/7 on propaganda videos, and this is only in main cities. The complete difference in city is insane. They also have issues like tofu, dredge, and so on. I recommend watching Serpensa, a South African man that lived in China for many years. Oh boy, where do I start? The classic I get my China takes from a racist YouTuber who grifts off xenophobic idiots argument. Serpensa, really? The same failed expat who made a career off cherry-picked horror stories for clout? Yeah, just brilliant. The reality is China lifted 800 million people out of poverty, dominates in infrastructure, tech, and global trade, while America rots with mass shootings, medical bankruptcy, and a circus-tier political system. But sure, go on. Scream dictatorship between your McDonald's shifts. Your cope is louder than your critical thinking. Stay mad, clown.
For the typical American, there is a lot of confusion about what life is truly like in China. When I tell them how modern the cities are, people are shocked. When I tell them about how low the prices are, people are shocked. Less than $4 for a Michelin recommended meal. This round trip subway trip cost me 2 yuan, which is 28 US cents. For my 3-bedroom apartment with a balcony located downtown Chengdu, my rent is $556 per month, but my job pays half of that as a benefit, which means I only pay $278 a month for my apartment. Each month, I think I spend approximately $75 on groceries. The quality of my lifestyle in China is much better than the quality of life I had living in the US. My name is Elise Lightyear. I'm 35 years old, and I moved to China in 2019.
Now let's pivot to a more traditional source, but one that surprisingly corroborates much of what we're hearing from the ground. A CNBC segment from July 23, 2025 details the monthly expenses of an American who relocated to China, and the numbers are frankly eye-opening. We're talking about significantly lower costs for housing, transportation, and even dining out. Now, this segment highlights how a comfortable lifestyle, often considered out of reach for many in the US, is not only achievable, but commonplace in China. Even for those with modest incomes, it's a stark reminder that the purchasing power of your dollar, or yuan, goes a lot further when the fundamental costs of living are dramatically lower. So what have we learned? The American dream, as many of us were taught in the West, is facing a serious reality check. The data, the personal stories, and even mainstream financial reporting paint a picture of a nation where economic security and upward mobility are increasingly elusive for the average person. Meanwhile, in places like China, a different kind of prosperity is emerging, one where basic needs are more affordable and opportunities, while different, are abundant. This is about questioning narratives, looking at the evidence, and understanding that the world is far more complex than the simplified stories we're often told. Perhaps the real dream isn't about a specific geographical location, but about the ability to live a life of dignity, security, and opportunity. And right now, for many, that dream might be found in unexpected places. It's time to redefine what prosperity truly means, and perhaps look beyond our own borders for inspiration. I, for one, am happy I did. If you found value in this video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment below. And until next time, 再见。